play smart. Box smart. Winners play smart.
In a comparative analysis between elite under-18 and adult community-level front row players, and while the under-18 players were considered top national-level players, there were some fascinating findings. Even though these top-level younger players were as tall and had similar grip strength as the adult players, it was found that they could not compete with the average adult measures of weight, cervical strength, or cervical muscle endurance. The adults were heavier and scored better on neck strength and neck muscle endurance, where they could push and sustain heavier loads in the neck muscles. The relevant factors that were associated with this increased neck strength and endurance of the older adult community level players were the players' increased body weight and number of years experience in playing in the front row. In other words, the heavier the player and the longer they played in the front row position, the better they performed in the strength and endurance measures.
Only 2 of the 30 elite under-18 front rows could match the mean adult strength, and only 3 of them could match the fatigue endurance measures. The under-18 group were also roughly 20% weaker. Given the fact that the adults were community-level players and the under-18 were elite-level players, if this study's results were then to be extended into community-level under-18 players, it is then fair to assume that the mismatch or difference in neck strength and endurance would be far greater, and therefore by implication the younger players' scrumming ability and ability to compete and remain safe in the scrumming contest would be severely compromised. With relatively weaker neck extensors and front row players, it would be realistic to expect that the risk of scrum collapse and therefore neck injury would also be increased substantially.
In the true spirit of the game, it is both essential and sensible that you continue to identify and select those players who are best suited to play in these positions. And then, as per law, coach, prepare and condition them properly, both physically and technically, to remain competitive and, most importantly, safe in the scrum. The scrum is a demanding physical environment. By the complex interaction of 16 players in the scrum and a pack's desire to win the ball, dominate the scrum contest, and establish themselves as the superior scrumming side on the day, this can expose those who are poorly selected or not prepared properly and put them unnecessarily in harm's way. It is therefore quite clear that you need to align your player selections appropriately. Keep them within the adult, underage, and school age banding regulation stipulations, and prepare and condition your front row players properly to avoid any significant mismatches that might lead to a potential catastrophic injury.